A lot of people do not know how to control their emotions when they are actually getting into a conversation. Is it important to speak up or it's not important to speak up? Tips on how to complain well. Approach them with potential solutions. The entire tone and demeanor of that conversation has to be very positive and constructive. A lot of them are having the issues, then you can complain well.
Please welcome, sit down.
Hello and vanakkam. Thank you all for joining the Positive Tribe. I've got a great tip. It is about how is it that we progress in our careers. All of us get to work for many employers, but during our careers, we always actually face a lot of issues. But a lot of us do not actually bring up those issues, or even if we have to bring up those issues, we bring it up in ways and means which deters or does not help our career progression. The most important thing is, first and foremost, when you are faced with an issue at work, is it important to speak up or it's not important to speak up? I have a point of view here. When you are at work, anytime when you are faced with an issue, it is important to speak up. Why? The moment you speak up, you come under the limelight. People think about you as a person, as an individual who has a voice, who speaks up. You get career progression opportunities. If you see an issue and you are actually going through an issue, then what happens is, if you do not speak up, you have not highlighted that, as a result of which you completely go unnoticed. So it is so important that every time there is an issue, you definitely need to speak up and talk about that particular topic or that issue. Bring it up with your managers, with your bosses, whoever it is. Majority of the folks do not get actually trained, or nobody has given them that insight in terms of how do you go and present this. A lot of people come across in a way that it's very brash, as a result of which, instead of progressing in your career stagnates. Right? So the most important tip which I'm going to talk about is, how is it that actually you speak up well about issues which you are facing, as a result of which you can have career progression. So the first and foremost thing is tips on how to complain well, in terms of how you should complain well at work. The first and foremost thing is, when you approach your managers with a particular problem, approach them with potential solutions. Most importantly, you want to have enough data and talk about possible solutions. I've seen people in our own organization who have come with potential solutions, as a result of which, based on the potential solution what they proposed, they got promotions in their careers. They came actually to talk about a particular issue, but they came with solutions for that particular issue, as a result of which they got promotions. So when you go into a conversation to complain, be well armed with data and go with at least one or two solutions, stating that, hey, these are the potential solutions what I have. During the entire conversation, just stick to the facts and talk about the impact. Just talk about what are the facts what you've brought to the table, what is the impact what it is going to create when you're discussing about that particular solution. Most importantly, the entire tone and demeanor of that conversation has to be very positive and constructive. The reason why I say that is, the moment you go and talk to your manager, you start the conversation in a whiny tone, stating that you did not do this, you do not always give me a good appraisal, your scores are very low, or when you talk about you, what happens is, it makes that person defensive. The moment you've made that particular individual defensive, what they are going to do is, they are going to box you into a cocoon, in the sense they put you in a box, stating that you're a whiner and you're always going to come up with problems, and you are blaming that particular individual as you or somebody else. So it is so important that you should never take that approach of a whining approach. Instead of that, go with the previous idea what I've mentioned, which is go with solutions, be constructive, be positive, go with armed with data, armed with facts, stick to the facts, stick to the impact. If you do just those 5 things, you will absolutely progress in your career. Another important point which I wanted to talk about, demeanor, is a lot of people do not know how to control their emotions when they are actually getting into a conversation with their managers or their bosses, And the way they come across is they are totally unfiltered. There is a lot of anger, and they just unleash the rage in that particular conversation. Although in that conversation, it is nothing personal at all. It is actually an issue or a problem what you're facing, but you're not trained enough to control your emotions, as a result of which you go unleash the rage. The moment you unleash the rage, what happens is, again, you are boxed, you are branded to be a whiner or a person who is actually throwing a fit. How do you overcome that? When I said that you have to train your emotions into that conversation, there are ways and means to do that. There are 2 tips which I wanted to share. One of the ways I would say is, when you get into a conversation, make sure that you have done enough amount of rehearsals of what exactly you're going to be talking in that particular conversation. And if you take a constructive and a positive approach with data points, you can go well rehearsed. If you go in just barging into a door and start a conversation stating that, hey, you did not do this and you did not do that, what happens is you're all over the place, you do not have the facts right, you do not have data points, you just come across as a whiner. So the first tip is go well prepared. The second tip what I would share is, when you have a complaint, an issue which you are facing, I would love for you to actually test it out and see, are you the only one who has that problem in the organization, or are there others, your peers, are also facing the problem? So first, stress test that problem with your peers and see if they are also having the same issues. And then if you feel that a lot of them are having the issues, then you can complain well. With the 5-step tips, what I spoke about in terms of how to complain well. Learn how to complain well and grow in your career at a rapid pace. If you're watching this video, what I would love for you to do is, and you watch this entire content, I want you to comment here in terms of what was the last thing what you complained about at your workplace with your manager. I'd love to hear that. And I want to see how is it that we can change the narrative and the tone the next time when we have actually an issue to complain about. Hope that helps. And if you like this content, please go ahead, comment, like, share it with your friends and colleagues at your office, and help everybody progress in their careers. Thank you for watching again.